When finding the surface area of a shape, you are actually finding the amount of area all the flat surfaces have in total. Similar to finding the volume of a cylinder, finding the surface area will require you to know two key pieces of information, radius and height. The equation to find surface area of a cylinder is A equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. The A represents the total surface area, while r represents the radius and h represents the height. For example, if the radius of a cylinder is 2 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters, you would have to plug these numbers into the right places of the equation. Otherwise, it will not work. If all the numbers are plugged in properly, your equation should equal A equals 2 pi times 2 times 5 plus 2 pi times 2 squared. Once these numbers have been plugged into the equation, you can solve for it. When determining the volume of a cylinder, two things must be identified first: radius and height. Once these two things have been determined, you can begin to plug values into your equation. The equation for volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h. Each letter and symbol within the equation has a specific meaning. V is representative of the total volume, pi is representative of pi, which is also known as 3.14. When plugging this into your calculator, look for the pi symbol. R, which is the radius, represents half the width of the cylinder. The radius is always half the length of the diameter. And H. H represents the height of the cylinder. More specifically, pi r squared is referring to the total area of the circle, which will then be multiplied by the height to give the total volume of the cylinder. For example, if the radius of a cylinder is 5 and the height is 7, you would have to plug these numbers into the proper places in the volume equation for it to work.
A sphere maximizes the amount of space, otherwise known as volume, but minimizes the surface area. For example, when you build a sphere, you get more space compared to other shapes. This is because the materials used to build it is proportionally much less than other shapes. Another example is, you know how when you're blowing up a balloon and it naturally forms a sphere? Well, this is because it is trying to hold as much air as possible with a small surface as possible.
The surface area formula of a pyramid is half PL plus B. Using this formula, you plug in the given numbers in the diagram to the bottom right corner. P represents the perimeter of the base of the pyramid. In this case, the perimeter should be 8 when you add all of the sides of the given square base too. L is short for the slant height of the pyramid. For this part, you have to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the slant height, or in other words, the hypotenuse. You use a squared plus b squared equals to c squared. When you plug in the numbers, you should get 3 squared plus 1 squared equals to c squared. C is what you're trying to look for, basically the slant height. After solving that equation, you should get 3.16 centimeters as your slant height. Now you need to find B, which is the area of the base. To do that, you simply multiply 2 by 2 to get 4 as your base area, with 2 as the measurement of one side of the square. Now plug in all the numbers, and this should get you half times 8 times 3.16 plus 4. An example of a cone is an ice cream cone. The next time you buy an ice cream cone, think about how much ice cream it can fit. To find the amount of ice cream that can fit in the cone, you use the volume formula, which is 1/3 pi r squared times height. To find the amount of cone that you're eating, you use the surface area, which is pi r squared plus pi r times slant height. An example of a hexagonal prism is a pencil or a beehive.
of 3D shapes. For a cylinder, a tissue paper. Yes, this is everywhere. For a sphere, a basketball. For cone, an ice cream cone. For a square pyramid. Oh my gosh, it's a temple. For a hexagonal prism.